What's happening, guys? Safety Liner C2 here. We've got a pretty interesting episode of bus stuff for sale because of the specs on the first bus, the bus itself on the second bus, whatever, and then I've ridden the third bus, so you're not going to want to skip around on this one. And real quick, don't forget that if you have something you want to submit for lots bus stuff for sale, the picture submission form, or any one of my videos in general, you can find the video request form in the description of my videos. I make sure to take a look at each and everything that is submitted. So this was back in 2017. We're in Georgia. This is all the stuff that they auctioned off. You know, there's some Amtrans, there's a Thomas, Bluebird, first gen CE, but we want to look at the Carpenters that they auctioned off. Alright, so I just chose a random one. I assume that they're all the same, but it's a 2000 Carpenter International. This particular one had 181,000 miles on it with the DT466. Okay, so look at the main specs here. We have black window posts, and that creates a solid line of black that goes over the door and up to the windshield. Up front we have fender mounted turn signals, you know, nothing uncommon. And on this particular bus we have a 4700 and a T444E emblem. Obviously that's not right, but it's on there. And take a look at the Carpenter logo on the bus. That's the last Carpenter logo that was used, and that means that this bus would be from the tail end of Carpenter. Here's where things get interesting. The black stripe from the side of the bus goes around to the back of the bus too. It looks like a Clark County bus. It's very odd seeing this particular spec on a Carpenter International, just because I'm so used to seeing it on a Clark County bus, and those I don't think they had any Carpenter Internationals. Also notice that they have arrow turn signals. That looks great. Here's just another view of that, and you can see it wraps around to the other side. And here's a look at the front of the bus. There's the control panel. Here's the driver's area, and if you take a look over on the right hand side, you'll see three switches. That would be the door, the master, and the manual. And I believe that that particular setup, all three of those switches, was on all late Carpenters before the factory shut down. Here's the build plate. It was manufactured in February of 2000. Here's a couple different shots of the engine. $600 is very reasonable. The bus needs a lot of work, and unfortunately when Carpenter started slowing down production, their quality really went down more so than it already had. I would be really interested to see what happened with this bus. Next up, this bus was submitted anonymously. We are in Colorado taking a look at a 1978 Ford B600 that sold back in 2013. It sold for $687.50, had 46,949 miles on the odometer with an 8-cylinder gas engine and a 4-speed manual. It's on a Bluebird body with front and rear tow hooks, and was previously used in pig transportation. Okay, here's a look at the bus. It is a Bluebird Ford B600 that would be from 1978, and it's in surprisingly good condition, even for 2013. The stop sign is faded, but, you know, big deal. There's a little bit of rust up front. Again, you know, big deal. But the bus overall just looks to be in really good condition. I'm wondering if the engine can actually close or not. That could be a factor as to making it not as in good condition. And notice the numbering on the hood. I don't know if that's maybe from the district or where the, you know, farmer wrote his fleet number or something, but interesting nonetheless. Here's a look at the back of the bus. Not much here. And the same on the passenger side. Here's a look coming into the bus. Notice that it has a jackknife door. And here's the driver's area. Notice how high that shifter is. Normally, I think they would be a lot lower down than right next to where the door handle would be, so maybe that was something that the farmer changed, but I don't know. Here's a look at the control panel. You know, nothing out of the ordinary there. Here's a look at the inside of the bus. We have steel plating all over. We have bars on the windows. these metal sheets up front, and even a little gate. So yes, I believe that this might have actually been used for pig transportation. Here's another look up front. Notice the classic Bluebird door handle. There's a couple different shots of the engine if you're interested. Here's a look at the build plate. This particular bus was made at the Midwest factory. Again, I'm really interested to see what happened with that bus. Was it used for farming again, or did someone convert it into a skoolie? And if they did they know that it was used for pig transportation before they got it? Most likely it was just scrapped, but interesting bus with a really interesting story. And last but not least, like I said, we're going to take a look at a bus that I've ridden. Not just one I rode like once or twice. This was my route bus. We're in Cy-Fair ISD, where I grew up, taking a look at this 2009 ICCE. It's a 71 passenger bus with a Max Force DT, automatic transmission, air brakes, and 126,000 miles on it. Okay, here it is. It has seen better days. Trust me, I have seen it in better days. But this is the bus I rode. Bus number 6020. This was my freshman year bus. So this was my second time riding a CE as a route bus. I was particularly happy that I got this bus because throughout my 3 years of middle school, I rode a 1990 Bluebird International, a 2000 International CE, and a late 90s Bluebird 3800. And my last year of elementary school, I had ridden like a year-old CE, so I was excited to be back on something fairly new. We have pretty much full LED throughout the entirety of the bus. All the clearance lights, the side turn signals, the warning lights, the brake lights, all LED. The warning lights were non-strobing. The stop signs, there are dual stop signs on this bus, and they are incandescent, non-strobing. I've said it before, I'll say it again, one of my favorite specs is on this bus, the striped bumpers, and it's because of buses like this that made me love this spec. Here's a view of the passenger side of the bus, a view that I have seen many, many times, and I don't think it's any secret. I love Cy-Fair buses, and you know, when I'm looking at this, like the numbering right up front and that particular font with the particular sizing, paired with the striped bumpers, it just works. Now you might be wondering, Cameron, why the heck is it 6020? That is such a random number, and especially because I see 119 directly right next to it. Well, it's not 119. If you look, you can barely see a little bit of vinyl for a fourth number. That would be 1195. Unfortunately, there were not 5,000 buses or so to fill in the numbers between 1195 and 6020. But 1195 and most of the other CEs on this auction are also 2009s. That's because, from my understanding, some other vehicles in the fleet, so like administrator cars, police cars, or just maintenance vehicles or whatever, started off on 1200. So for the sake of organization, you couldn't have any of those vehicles being 1200 and a bus also being 1200. So the transportation director at the time apparently decided to just say, you know how I'm going to solve this? We're going to skip all the way to 6000, and that's why this is a 6000 series bus. And this is also a pretty low 6000 series bus, because I believe they went up to 6500 or so before they switched over to a 3-digit and then 5-digit numbering system. Anyways, I'm just rambling on. Here's a look at the back of the bus. We have striped bumpers on the back here as well. You can also see, like I mentioned, dual stop signs, and if you take a look in the background, there is one of Cy-Fair's newer CEs, tinted windows, black window posts. Looks great. Here's a couple different shots of the tires. Here's the step well coming into the bus. Again, a view that I have seen many times. Here's a look at the driver's area. Notice we have a push button transmission. Directly to the left of that, we have a warning light indicator. I don't know why exactly they put that on there, because they also had the warning light indicator on the dash itself, so I've always kind of found that interesting. And there's also the tablet holder. Those didn't come in until after I graduated, so I never saw those in any bus. Here's a look at the back of the bus. Notice the AC system in the back. and I'm pretty positive I've ridden in every single one of those seats. And here is a look at the front of the bus. Here's the build plate. It was manufactured in February of 2008, and here's a few different shots of that Max Force DT. At the time I'm recording this, the auction is still up and still has a couple days. Right now the highest bid is $500, and that's what they set it at, but I imagine that this is probably going to go for $3,000 to $5,000. I love seeing this on here. I love being able to get more pictures of a bus that I rode. It's unfortunate to see it go, even though it has been, 10 years since I've ridden this bus. Oh god, I'm old. I'm finding this, a little weird because it's a route bus that I've ridden. I know like 2 or 3 have already been auctioned off, one of them while I was in high school. I bet you can't guess which one that one was. Definitely wasn't the 1990 one. I think it's just weirder because this is a bus that I have very, very clear memories on. This is really when I started, I don't want to say I started becoming more interested in buses, because I was already deeply invested. I was already doing YouTube at this point, and still, I don't know. It's just this one hits different than any of the other ones, and I wasn't even particularly attached to this bus other than, oh, I rode it. I think it's just weird seeing it go now. Now there's still a couple other buses that I rode as regular route buses that have yet to be auctioned off, and they're probably used as spares now, and I'm just making myself feel old again. And there you have it. Those are the 3 that I want to show off. And let me know, as always, if you had the time, money, resources, whatever you would need to get one of these buses working and just, do whatever you want with, which one would it be? As much as I would like to say the Carpenter that looks like a Clark County bus, or the pig transport bus, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind I would take 6020, even if it does have a Max Force DT and it's a CE and, all of this stuff. It's a bus that I rode. Do I have to say more than that? But anyways, let me know which one you would choose in the comments below. And don't forget that if you have something you want to submit for Bus Stuff for Sale, lots of lots, the picture submission form, or any one of my videos in general, you can throw that in the video request form found in the description of any one of my videos. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe right down here. It's a magical white button that says you are now subscribed to Safety Liner C2. Make sure you comment up here, down here, over here, or over here. I don't know where they put it down. I don't care where they put it. Make sure you also give this video a thumbs up, or I'm going to auction off your route bus. And make sure you also share this video with a friend, show it to your mom, show it to your dad, show it to a guy on a random street. I don't care, don't let anything happen to you. So yeah guys, that's gonna do it for this video, and thanks for watching.